Welcome to our Posh podcast. I am your host, Gabrielle. I'm here with my co-host, Marcella, my daughter.
Hi.
And our Puerto Rican amazing Bernie.
Hola.
Our DJ Spider.
Well, thank you.
Oh
Thank you.
my God.
Is it going to change every time?
I don't have enough to do that every time.
I kind of like the, what was the first one you did?
This R&B
The
song.
R&B one.
Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like that one.
Yeah,
the most
we'll get back to that.
Yeah.
And we have two amazing co-hosts with us today. We have back Vivian, which we're going to hear the second part of her amazing story.
Hello. Give the wave.
And we are very honored to have Cruz here with us today.
Yes.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Yeah.
And we're going to hear about his stories the next 2 episodes. So everyone stay tuned and stay with us. And we're going to jump right in because Vivian told us about her story growing up and everything. And what she didn't tell us is that she tried out for Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders and was on Making the Team
On
TV
CMT.
show. And you tried out twice, correct?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that and the whole thing, and tell us a little bit what happened.
Okay. So it all started in high school. Throwback. I was a tomboy growing up and I played sports and all that stuff. So I wasn't very much a girly girl. And I had my first boyfriend. My first boyfriend was always like, why aren't you a cheerleader or on the dance team or whatever? And I was like, I don't know. Like, 16-year-old girls, whatever. Well, we broke up, and in order to spite him, I took a dance class.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I fell in love with it, and it completely changed my life. So with every heartbreak, with every disappointment, know that there's a reason and a purpose. And so I started to dance. I wasn't good, but I loved it. Loved it.
What was his, let me go back to the first little dick boyfriend. What happened to him? Was he jealous? Did he get back? Was he?
Oh, we were on and off for 3 years, so it's fine. I have forgiven everybody in my life. I don't want any of those
Hey, she
things
has
holding
a
me back.
police officer boyfriend now.
Yeah. He was a Marine, and he's good stuff. All-American hero.
Nice. How long you guys
He
been
looks
together?
like it.
We've been together for a year now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you. And so I went on and I auditioned for the drill team. I made the drill team, and then I could not retain choreography to save my life. It was so hard because I'm dancing with these girls who've been dancing since they were 2, and I was just so intimidated, but I worked my ass off. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to try. I'm going to try.
She then became a teacher at Dallas Powerhouse.
Yes, I did.
How long ago? How long ago was that?
I did it for about half a decade. They closed
I don't think
their
I've had
doors.
anyone ever describe 10 years or years in half a decade. That's usually 5 years. 4
It sounds like a lot, though. I had to think about it.
I did too. I was
Half a
like,
decade. Question.
5 years.
Wait. This is Bernie, you should have said, Marcella, what is that? How long is that?
But for a second, I was like, what is half a decade?
See?
Sorry,
took me a
continue.
minute.
Keep going.
You love how I word things.
I know it's
Or
very,
years.
it's very smart.
Well, thank you. Where do I leave off?
So
You made the
for half a
dressing.
decade.
Oh yeah, so, for half a decade.
For half a decade.
And I auditioned for. Well, I was going into college, and I wanted to go to UT, so I was taking an SAT class to try to get the scores to get into that school. And then I went to a college fair, and the Apache Bells were there, and they were at Tyler Junior College, and it was collegiate drill team. The only reason I really joined drill team is because I needed structure in my life, because my mom was very live and let live, do what you do, just tell me where you at, kind of just, I love you, I have faith in you, live your life. And I kind of started just getting wrapped up in the wrong crowds and getting into bad stuff. And so I got onto drill team, but I was like, these people are crazy. They're trying to tell me how to live my life. And I was just, I needed it, but I didn't know if I wanted to go to college and do it. But my best friend wanted to, so then we auditioned. I made it. I auditioned the same day that I had spring show for high school.
Mm-hmm.
I was on a fractured foot. And I had to.
What?
Yes, I fractured my foot
How'd you
because
do that?
I was stomping at a rave.
No way.
All right.
Cruz, have you ever been one of those?
And she
before?
said she never danced.
That's right.
I actually love that. That's what you just like. That was the reason.
That's funny.
I wasn't expecting that.
What'd you
I loved.
fracture?
I've never
What did
done
you
like
fracture?
I never rolled or anything, but my freaking foot
Dude,
bone.
that's so funny.
And I was like, I just loved it because I found this like new way to express yourself.
It's fun. I'm not
And
gonna lie.
people were just like, when you go to like a rave, like people just they just dance crazy. And I was like, what is this?
I
Like the
love
first
raves.
time that I
I
went to
did
a rave,
too.
I was
I
like,
haven't
what
been
is
to a
going
rave in
on?
So long. I
Dance.
haven't been to a rave in so
Yeah.
long.
It's
And
fun.
Yeah.
You're very free. And honestly,
Very
a lot
free.
of my choreography has come from watching people actually do what they do at a rave.
Yeah.
It's really,
Yeah?
it's because they're free. Like they're not
Yes.
thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
There's usually a reason that
They're probably
not
rolling their
thinking,
ass off,
they're rolling.
That's
I would
okay.
take energy drinks.
No judging.
And I would just go, and it would be so much fun because I was just discovering dance. I was just learning how to express myself. And so people were like, you're so good at like freestyling. I was like, what? I am?
So you were doing it sober at these raves?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't.
I can't dance sober.
Yeah, that would be tough to be, but I'm impressed.
But I was just a big ball of happiness and joy, so I didn't really
No.
need me. And so I was just high on life, and I just wanted to
high on
party.
life.
I just wanted to
It's
party.
so funny.
And so I broke my foot. I was in a cast or a boot,
Yeah.
and we had spring show. So I performed. I had school
In a boot?
In the boot.
Oh, shit.
Well, I took it off to go on stage, and then I put it back on, and then it
Holy
was at
shit.
the end of the 3 weeks. So I was almost healed, but by the end of that week, I
And you
re-injured
re-injured it.
everything.
Yeah, you fucked
So
it all
this is
up.
for college now, though.
Yeah, this
right?
is for college, and I drove there, drove back, drove there. It was all a blur, but I made it, and I was so excited because I was like, I never thought that I could like do anything with dance because I limited myself in my expectation and my belief of my ability because I was comparing myself based on my peers and based on their experience, and that was when I realized that I have no limits, and when I set limits on myself, then I'm holding back from what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went through that experience. I loved being an Apache Belle. It was so much fun. There's a lot of like hazing, but it's not hazing. It's like a tradition. Like we have to wear like black outfits and like a number, and we have to stand there with our hair slicked back in a ponytail and like red lipstick and smile.
Do they make you drink?
I was going to say, I mean, like, what else? It sounds a little hazed right there.
Yeah. And it's just like you stand there and then you're not allowed to talk. You can only say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am when you're addressed. And then you
Wait, was this one?
I don't think I could do that.
Yeah,
You
it's
know.
so hard.
I would never.
There's no
Listen,
way
you
in
know
hell
what?
you
You can go
could.
fuck yourself, is what I would tell him.
Spider says no
I
way
could
in hell.
not.
No way.
so hard.
Someone's ass gonna get kicked, especially if they're smaller than me and they're telling me that. I'm like, you can fuck
Yeah.
off. You shut up.
I would.
Oh my
I
gosh.
quit.
Yeah.
I remember Hell Week is the first week that we go there.
What?
And it's called
You guys
Hell
had
Week.
a
And-
dancing hell week?
Yes. And it's like,
Like
I was in the
sorority.
transition.
Dude, no shit. That's crazy.
It was crazy. It was the transition between one director and the next director. So I was the freshman year for the last director. And
Were the directors into the hazing with, or the?
they thought it was tradition and that it was
It's
okay.
the college tradition.
Yeah,
My
it's
God, that's
college.
great. And no
Then
drinking
it
was involved.
escalates.
And
I'm
no
just
drinking
wondering
was
that right now.
involved. And I remember being in the gym and they were like, run another lap. And then the sophomores,
hell no.
I remember one of the sophomores, all of my friends were crying and they were like, this sucks. And I was just pissed off. I was just like, they're mad. I was just mad. And then one of them was like, you slut puppies. And I was like, okay, all right. And I don't know. It like looking back, I was like, that was kind of hard. But at the same time, it was so much fun, like being in that experience.
Were
like,
you a slut puppy? Is that the problem?
No,
It
sir.
kind of weeds out the
No,
people that don't
sir.
really want it, I feel. You
Yeah.
know? It's something like you do,
Yeah.
something to prove.
Yeah,
that,
for sure.
You know.
For sure.
And so one of my sophomores, that's what we're called, freshmen and sophomores. And so one of my sophomores were like, Vivian, you're so beautiful. Why don't you audition for the Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders? And I was like, okay, like that's funny. She's like, why would that be funny? And I was like, I never thought, like, that never passed in my head. That was never a thought for me, because that's like something that girls like want to do since they're a little girl.
Mhm.
And I was like, I couldn't steal that from somebody, you know, or I couldn't just jump on the train and be like, I belong here, you know? Like, I thought that was like, it was not okay for me.
attainable
Yeah, not
for you.
attainable for me. And so I was just like, okay, I just let it brush off of me. But then as I continued to dance, as people like saw me dance, and as I grew in my skill, I became better, and I was more excited, and I was more entertaining, and people were like, you need to do something with this. Like, you're good. You need to audition for something. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to try. There's nothing holding me back. I might as well
So this
try.
is the first year you go there, and
So I had to lose weight first, because I was just too curvy. And so I spent a whole year learning.
Voluptuous.
That was very
better,
PC.
yeah.
That was a good way to say it. You clearly,
That's
Cruz
how
works
I am
around a lot of
now.
women.
Yeah.
Voluptuous. He even said it with the right tone.
Oh, yeah.
Voluptuous.
Super sexy.
Marcella doesn't
exactly
know
right.
how to say that word.
I know it's hard for me.
So brash.
So cute.
And so I lost 30 pounds. I trained. I worked with like a lot of private studio like teachers and everything. And I was like, what do I need to do? And so I auditioned. I was the first fan favorite, which was like mind blowing. I didn't know that I was going to.
What does that mean? How do you become a
explain
fan
the fan
favorite?
favorite?
So that year.
This is
that
on
I
the show?
This
I
is
was
on
just
the
about
show.
that. So this is on the show.
CMT.
Yeah.
So
Making
could
the
we
team.
could we YouTube
CMT.
and
Yes.
see?
Yes, you can see it all.
Oh, Bernie.
Bernie's always quick on YouTube.
So by making the team, don't you have to like already make it to something when they film, or no?
No.
The show
from
is
the
about
the-
making.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
It's
from the very
entire
beginning.
process.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I the fan favorite was a new social media technique that they were using in order to get like
Oh.
fans and people that were viewing.
I have your audition
Oh
right here.
Flashback.
Yeah. When was this?
This
This is 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm like
Half a
2014.
decade. Get it
Half a
straight.
decade.
Half a decade. That's right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cruz and I are watching your
Ooh.
This is bad.
I
It's
was
really good.
skinny, right?
Check you out.
Super skinny. And I won that, and I was really amazed by just like the support that I got from all my friends and my family, and how hard they worked for me to be able to win that. And I was just like, I was so excited and so green and so like, I was just new, you know? I was so hopeful. And that year they let me go because they were like, well, your thighs are too big.
No.
You're
That's what
so
they said.
small in this video. Oh, God.
know.
They
But
said
here-
your
And
thighs
that
are too
pissed
big.
everybody off that was watching.
Ah.
And so I think that was maybe a reason why they invited me to come back.
So you made it all the way, like, just to explain a little bit.
Yeah,
if
the
people
first
haven't
time.
watched it, they go through a round of auditions. Just I call it, in like dance terms, is like a cattle call audition. Anybody
Mhm.
can go. You go, you get your number, you get cut, and then you make it to a final. And then there's so many rounds of auditions, and then so you made it to training camp,
Yes.
and then they
That's
cut
a
you.
lot.
And
And
I
that is
went,
a
It's
lot.
amazing.
That is
I
a
went
lot.
into
Yeah.
training camp, and I went all the way to the end, and they cut me.
All the way to the end of training camp.
Yeah. They cut me like one girl before the
You're
one.
done.
So 2 weeks before they made the team.
No.
Yeah. And
you
then
had to be devastated.
I was so devastated, but I was so hopeful because I was still in such a
I'll do it
positive,
again.
like hopeful mindset. And I
Mhm.
was
But at the same time, that's very impressive.
It
I mean,
is.
to
Yeah,
get that
very.
far.
I can't tell because is that
she's
you?
That's
crying.
incredible.
That's not me.
Okay.
There's a lot of tears on that. Show.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I mean, so that year was fine. I was like, all right, Vivian, you got to get your shit together and you're going to get ripped. And so I was like, that was the main focus of the next year. I was like, I need to lose weight. So much to where it started to become like
Obsession.
an obsession, like a mental disorder, kind of like an OCD kind of thing. I would count every single calorie that I put in my body. I would, if I ate 1 calorie over, I would be in the gym for hours until I was in a deficit. I was like, when I would, like, if I wore a backless outfit, you can see my bones in my back. Like I was unhealthy, but I wanted
it that bad.
I wanted it so bad that I was like, it's fine. I'm going to get this. I'm going to work my ass off.
Because you were so close.
Because I was so close and I was so encouraged. And I came back. I was in the top 3 for fan favorite. I don't know. My mom was pissed. Yeah, because she was like, you were the number 1 until they took it down. I think they did something. I was like, it's fine, Mom. It's no big deal. And that time, it was different because I all of a sudden, I became like a character. And
on the show?
On the show.
Oh, shit.
Because now, how far into audition is this? That are you in training camp? Is this finals? Is this?
So it's like I became a character as they started to portray me in a certain way.
Right, but I think what she's asking is, so you're there for the second audition.
Yes, second audition.
Year 2. Now we're going through the same thing again. Cattle call, all these different rounds. What rounds are they starting?
I made it to training camp again.
So they're starting to really focus in on you as a character, which is what the producers will do. They'll find.
Yes.
How far is that when you make
they want that drama?
Oh yeah. They'll find a good one.
How far is that when you make training camp from start to training camp? How far is that?
April to summer, right?
Oh, training camp I think lasts like 3 months.
Yeah.
No, but for the process from start that season and start trying out with everyone else, how many steps are there before you make it to training camp?
I think you audition and then there's a week, then there's finals, and then there's like a 2-week period, and then training camp starts.
So that's a big deal to make it to training
huge.
camp.
It's huge.
No,
very big deal.
And then to get it to almost the end is even more of a
it's
big
unbelievable.
deal.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I think you should try it again.
You take hey,
girl, have you seen these voluptuous curves?
you take a compliment very well. The last
show. And so
you're becoming this character.
Yes. And so I started
character how? Like
I was going to ask, was it a good character or bad?
The first season, I put together this like kind of, what is that called? Production kind of like solo
character.
Yeah,
like musical theater, Broadway.
That.
Okay.
But for my solo, and it was supposed to be the Tin Man, and I had a box that had like a heart in it, and it said DCC has my heart, and it was like supposed to be like following the red yellow brick road, and then it goes into Demi Lovato should have had a heart attack, and then they just ripped me a new one with that. Like Kitty Cardi was like, no. Like
this is season 1.
This is season 1, and so that was the only like really bad thing that they made fun of me for season 1. I think.
So why? What was the reasoning before that? I mean, for that.
They didn't like your choreography or your solo or
because I put some like silly like stupid moments in there where I was like acting out like funny, and they were like do, 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 do. Like she has no idea what we want, and
you're doing America's Got Talent,
right? No shit, dude, that's so funny.
Over dramatizing the situation.
Well, and Kitty Carter is the cheerleader, Dallas Cowboys cheerleader trainer.
Yeah.
And she can be extremely crass. Like she has absolutely no filter.
Yeah.
She will say whatever
Do they
comes
show
to her
that?
mind.
They show her.
They show her on the show?
Yeah.
Mm.
She owns a dance studio here in town.
In parts.
Have you never seen the show?
I've seen it. I just don't remember the kitty. I remember the two mean ones. There's
Kelly.
Kelly and who's the other one?
Judy.
Yeah, they're mean. They're like so mean. They're like, "Hey, you suck, and good luck next year." Like they have no filter.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna not that I know Kelly and she's very nice, but you have to understand this is the Dallas Cowboys. So when I was a Mavs dancer, Shella, same thing. You have to look a certain way, period. You have to dance a certain way, period.
Yeah.
So they can't, it's not like working with little kids. Like there's no filter
No
with
sugarcoating.
no
nothing.
sugarcoating. You're heavy and you can't fit in our uniform. So, I mean, show it to me. Lose that. What is that?
Well,
You're
that makes a lot of sense because you're right. It's talking about a different level of excellence that, most people will sugarcoat it or say sweet stuff. But you're right. You're talking about professionalism.
And there's so many people that want to
Also,
do
yeah.
that
Yeah.
at the same time.
And also they dramatize it for the show.
Of course.
No,
They're not,
yeah.
really
They're not
like
going to
that.
really be like, you're a stupid hoe. Leave.
I don't know. Somehow I think they were definitely going to say that on the show. But, and it also puts in perspective, that's the only cheerleading show that I know of in the country on CMT, which is a huge network. So
Yeah.
and aren't they still
They are
filming that?
still
They're
filming.
still doing
yeah.
it.
That's
And
crazy.
it's CMT and the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders are America's sweethearts. So,
Yeah.
and then
And it's
Spider-
international too now.
people
Yeah.
fly from Japan. I mean, people go from all across the country to audition, and Spider's right. There's a lot of people who want to do it. So if they are not brutally honest, I
Yeah.
mean, there's just some expectations they have for the girls that they just have to kind of be rough.
I'm guilty of watching it.
I think
No,
that's
and
It's
awesome.
very entertaining.
It
is.
Let me tell you.
It is. But it goes just like you said. It's entertaining because they make characters out of it. I think any reality TV show where they make characters out of it, especially for something like the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders, which everybody knows, you're right, they're America's team or sweetheart. And then it's international. And I think that's a big deal for sure.
Yeah.
So, but it is entertaining for sure because there are some of these girls who get just,
Yeah.
Oh, they want to die.
their
oh my
life
God.
has ended for them. For
well,
sure.
for
Well,
me,
some of these little girls have been their dreams
Yeah,
since
they were two.
they were little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And it's not a matter of they're doing it because they're trying to make money because there's no money in there.
No, none.
It's all about, there's some broke cheerleaders,
Yeah.
but the opportunity that comes along with it is pretty big
Yeah.
because a lot of girls can parlay that into a career.
Yeah.
I think it's cool to say that you were a cheerleader with a professional team.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal. I
When
think
as
it
a
is.
dancer, to get your professional job is
yeah.
it's a cool thing. So I want to go back to where you said you were a character.
Yeah. So,
What was your second solo for the second audition?
so the second solo, I was a referee, and I was I don't remember the
Jazz,
song.
hip hop,
Yeah, hip
hip
hop.
hop. Okay.
It was hip hop, and I did a couple turns, a turning disc, and just really entertaining.
Is that Jet?
This
He said, "No, I don't want to see the girl."
FaceTime me now. Me and Mr. Shy, he's pausing it.
Oh, Jet paused us. Bernie's
Paused
son.
us.
Oh, that's so cute.
I'll call you back. I love you.
Oh,
Sorry.
that was cute.
He's so cute.
I know.
He's awesome.
So, I don't remember my second.
So you said you were a
Solo.
referee.
Oh no, that was my first because I changed from the Tin Man to the referee,
Oh.
and then my second.
Same season?
Oh, my second year, I was going through a breakup. I was going
Aw.
through a breakup, and it was really, really hard for me because I was I've worked all year long. I'm not going to let this emotionally take away. And so I was trying to go into lyrical and do that
More
because I was
emotional.
that's more expressive. I can show them that I'm not just one person, that I'm multifaceted. And it wasn't a very good idea because I'm not very good at that.
Technical.
I'm not technical. I'm very you want the energy? I got it. Have some.
Right.
I can bring power and energy. And so I should have stuck with that, but it's neither here nor there. They decided to not take me. I don't know for what reason. But it was the day before they made the team.
So now this second time is the day before.
A day before, and I felt like they were gonna take me into the office. I could just feel it from the year before, that sixth sense. And so I was I'm gonna write them a poem because I've been a writer my whole life, and that's how I cope with my life. I write.
All right, so hold on a second before you get to the next step. I want to understand this. I'm sure anyone listening wants to really, at least I'm curious.
Yeah.
So you're about to go into the office, right?
Yeah.
So are producers setting it up in any way for you, or is it truly there's cameras on you?
Oh,
it's just going in
everything's
there?
set up. Okay, so the character thing,
Right,
they
I
would.
was getting back to that.
Yeah.
When did you know that? Like, when was it a character, and what character were you?
So they started to just portray me in certain situations. Like they would be like, can you look at yourself in the mirror, or can you they would ask me a question or ask me like, will you say this, or will you do this? And some of them I was like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Scripted reality.
So that's like, my question is, so what were they trying to characterize you as?
So and that's what I was getting to. After I shared my poem with them,
What'd they say?
well, Kelly was like, you're a good writer, but I don't want to drag this out. And after she said that, I saw red. I just saw red.
I can see Kelly in a breakup saying, hey, listen, it's not me. It is totally you. Go fuck off.
I don't want to drag this out. Like, we're done.
This isn't working for me. Sorry.
I don't know. I think it's just because I dedicated so much of my life to being this perfect entity and fitting into this uniform, fitting into this place that I was never meant to fit in. I've always been a person that stands out. And that's okay, because I think that everyone stands out in their certain way and they need to embrace it. And they don't need to be reprimanded for standing out or being their unique self. And so...
What was their reason? What did they tell you?
They said, we can't take a risk.
Okay.
Holy shit. What was the risk?
During training camp, what were some of your critiques? Was it choreography? Was it flexibility? Was it... did you kind of know? Like, what was
so
the risk?
when I thought the turning point for me when I was like, all right, I might be getting axed, which is before I wrote the poem, which was like, maybe this will be my saving grace. And then they actually just shit all over me and was like, this dumb bitch. and and on the show. And I was like, at the time when it happened, it was devastating to me because I was that like super bright-eyed, hopeful, very sensitive, loving girl that was like, I tried to share a piece of my soul with you and you make fun of me on an international level.
So Kelly and Judy made fun of you when you left the room, or
no,
there?
I think the editors, the CMT,
Right.
the TV show.
So let me play
But what did they
devil's
say?
advocate for it real quick.
Yeah,
My question is this. Now, looking back, do you agree that you're over dramatic in that? It sounds like they're trying to they characterize you as a dramatic person.
Was that
Can you-
it? Or were
No, they characterized me as I was like super into myself, and that I was like, I thought I was better than
Really?
everyone, and like, I've never thought that ever. Like, I look in the mirror because so my body hasn't always looked like that, you know? And they cut me for the way that I looked. And so I was obsessed with looking perfect for them all the time. And so they were like, why are you always looking at yourself in the mirror? And I was like,
But they told you to look in the mirror.
exactly. And so
You
you're in
needed
a place,
villain, so they
Damn,
villainized
that's
you.
crazy.
you're in a place where you're like, I don't know what to do, where to move. That's a move that I did in my routine. I did the robot. and
They're
the Tin
creating
Man.
drama in a reality show,
Yeah.
which is really your
life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And okay, so this
Man,
is what
that's
really
crazy.
devastated me and really changed the game, because we talked about how I was able to deal with traumatic situations before. My entire life, I've spent building my character, making sure that I did the right thing, said the right thing, made people feel loved and cherished and good. And in seconds, they destroyed my character on an international level that prevented me from making other teams, made people gossip
Really?
about me. Like, before I walked into any room, people would already like camp me as this type of person. Like, I don't want to be her friend. I don't want her on my team. She thinks that she's better than everyone else. She thinks she's more beautiful. When I've never said that a day in my life, and I never thought that I gave off that vibe. I mean, I felt like the harder that I tried, the further away I got. Like, the more I tried to be like, hey, I'm genuine. I'm being like real. I really care about you. I'm just trying to do this. I love you. I think that you're awesome. I want to try this too. And people were just like,
No.
they just wouldn't accept me. And I was just like,
I thought that a very interesting thing was yesterday when I called her just to get a little bit of knowledge of her background. And I asked her just if she had some tragic events happened in her life that she wanted to share to maybe help people. And then we got interrupted and I had to call her back. And when I called her back, she said, I had some time to think about it. And my answer is probably going to surprise you because she has been through being sexually molested as a child, being raped in college, being beaten up by her uncle, being poor, homeless, whatever. Yet this experience
was the worst.
is the worst for her.
Really?
The most tragic, which I've found unbelievable. Like I have chills when I say it. It's amazing how much damage that can do.
And it's not because
It's more an emotional damage
it's
than a
because
physical.
it's because it stole something from me that I never thought was able to be stolen. Like it was
Character.
like my personality. It was my character. They defamed my character on an international level. That is suable. Like I lost friends. I lost job opportunity. Like I lost so much. I was camped. I remember my friend Amanda. Amanda Belle. I auditioned for the Stars with her that following like year, and she was like, we just saw each other the other day, and we hadn't seen each other since we auditioned. And she was like, "Hey, I just want you to know that when you auditioned, like you were one of the most awesome dancers that I saw. And when they didn't even invite you to training camp, I knew it was all political."
Oh,
And-
100%.
And I
Dude,
was-
that's insane.
like I remember not being called and just like sitting in that seat, and I was like why am I here? Why am I trying to do this? And then I walked, I waited, I congratulated all my friends because that's what I would want from a friend. And I remember walking with my little tote bag and I went into the staircase and I stood next to the wall because I was waiting for my boyfriend to pick me up. I just let in a deep, like, I took in a breath and I just fell and I just sobbed because it's like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I letting this define me? And then all of that hate and all of that, I got hate mail. I got hate Twitter. I got like, you stupid conceited hoe. I hope that you never make a team, or you're not talented at all. You think you're so much more beautiful than everybody.
That's
and I'm
crazy.
like, I never said any of this stuff. I've never, like, all of your perceptions, all of your filters, all of what you perceive is all through a lens that they portray.
It's somebody else done.
Through somebody else's editing, somebody else's, like, you can put whatever you want out in the universe, and people can take it the way that they know how to take it by their own experience.
Yeah.
And so
I think what's hard about that too is being on a reality show. She can't confront these people and they don't care. Producers
No.
don't give a fuck. If they can get you for good TV, they're going to do it, destroy your life, whatever. They're
not gonna even.
I've even asked producers before, do you go to school for like, do you get trained how to like be an asshole? Like, do you go to school for this? No,
I'd love to be there for that
It's
conversation.
their job to create
Yeah.
it is.
drama.
And they're
I
like,
mean,
and they
straight
just
up.
don't care about it
And
at
then,
all.
you know what ends up
They
happening?
love it.
They
Actually,
love
They totally
it.
love it.
They
And,
love
and the
it.
thing is that at the beginning of it, when you're signing the contracts and all
Oh,
that stuff,
yeah.
no one is thinking about like, my
I could
life
be the villain.
Real,
Yeah.
You're
especially
thinking,
that
you're so
show because
excited.
all the girls are treading lightly because they want to get on the team, and the team is real and the show is fake.
Yeah.
So it's a really fine
That is-
line.
that
on that
is.
it's
show.
so
Yeah.
hard.
It's crazy.
And
True.
like you're tiptoeing every single day. I remember I would be eating, working out, or practicing. That's how I spent my entire day. I would work out for 14 hours a day sometimes.
Oh my God.
And I would spend all the money that I got on food, on the correct food to eat. Like it was my life. And I was just stuck. And then all of a sudden I developed like, I developed bulimia, and I would binge after a week of working hard. I would like eat a hamburger and then just like feel like shit and be like vomiting in the bushes before I go see my boyfriend. And I remember one time after a game, I was a cheerleader for hockey. I went and I got a burger and I ate it. And then I was like, I can't have this in my body. And so I went to go stay at his house and the bathroom door didn't lock. So I was like, I have to go to the bathroom real quick. And I was on my knees, purging. And he opened the door.
Oh, man.
And I look up and I have my hair. And he's like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I just don't feel well. I just don't feel well. And that's like, that was the truth. But it was so much deeper. Like, I was miserable. I never felt good enough. I never felt pretty enough. I never felt like I was killing myself trying to fit in this box, trying to fit it in this uniform that was never going to be attainable for me because I was never meant to fit in. And that's why I want to share with everyone who is like struggling with fitting in and wanting to be a part of something, wanting to be accepted, wanting to feel beautiful and confident. Because once you start getting all of this like energy and you're like, yes, I'm finally doing it. I finally can retain choreography. I finally can point my toe that way. I finally can make my hair look pretty. They're like, oh no, honey, take it back. You look trash. And you become like body dysmorphic. Like you don't know what's up and what's down and what's right and left. And I know that Marcella, you know what that's like.
It's a mental, abuse.
Yes.
We had this conversation a couple shows back, and today's society, and everyone here is guilty of it. We look on Instagram or social media and we see other people's lives, and we have this impression that is, oh my God, their life is so much better than mine, or this or that. And they deal with, those people are dealing with probably worse insecurities than us normal people are, right? But it's all very real.
The representative, they just show you what they want you to see.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
But it's all so very real, and I'm 100% sure that people who are listening are very much resonating with what you're saying and hearing an inside look at, what your experience was within that show is crazy.
It was so... I hated myself more than I ever hated myself before. I was bullied. I was considered ugly. I like, when I was going through that stage, I would be like, my hair's brown, my eyes are brown, I'm ugly. I just wore it as like an identification badge. I was like, this is who I am.
You're so far.
And I rocked
so
that.
beautiful.
Thank you. I just rocked it because I was like, this is who I am. Deal with it. And then what took that away from me was wanting to fit in, wanting to be a part of a team, wanting to be accepted. When I had it right all along when I was a kid, like trying to be accepted by everybody that you meet and be a part of these teams. I want to talk to the younger population for a second. If you're listening, it is okay who you are today, who you were yesterday, and who you're going to be tomorrow. When we start to love ourselves in our experience of who we are every moment of every day and giving ourselves a break, then we can give other people a break. Then we can love other people more, because that's where our judgment comes from, is our own self-hate. Like, oh, I feel so fat. That's why I had to gain the weight. I'm heavy. I'm more voluptuous right now because I hated myself at my best. And I was like, no. You're going to learn how to love yourself at your worst, air quotes, and you're going to help other people deal with that too. Because being in our industry, you have the stigma to just look a perfect way. And
since you're a kid though, like you look at these 6-foot mirrors that are, depending on what studio you go to, wrapped around 360, and you are in typically pink tights and a leotard, and you are told from that age, like, ballerinas are skinny, like you have to be like a stick to be skinny, and you're constantly looking in the mirror. And I don't think they mean it bad at first, but body awareness is like, nothing can be distracting. And it becomes, she gets mad at me, but I've told you too, I am obsessed with it. And
she's gorgeous. Look at her.
But thank you. But I just like, I'll be like pinching.
Wow, you take compliments well too.
Wow.
Thanks. No. But you start to like, and then you do a team like that, and then they will yell out your weight and be like, oh, you're fat. And they'll pinch places on you that you're like, oh shit, I didn't even know I had fat there.
And they do it in front of people? Everybody?
Oh yeah. And you just kind of, you start to look in the mirror and you're like, oh my gosh, this is sticking out. Non-stop. Oh my gosh, I have that roll. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
Crazy.
And I get in trouble with her because I still do it today. I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I feel huge. Oh my gosh, it's just like obsessed.
It's really,
obsession.
It
it's
really
really
is.
hard.
It's wild.
It's crazy. You know, it'll be interesting as we in the next show when we hear more about the vanity of hair and whatnot.
Yes.
I'm interested in that one.
I
for
have
sure.
that problem too.
Yeah. So I'll be interested to hear when we do the next show with you, Cruz, on that one. But it's just unbelievable how it's really cool because for anyone who's anyone who's listening is typically watch Marcella's Instagram and you can tell she's gorgeous, right? But it's very cool that you can share those insecurities and hearing it also from you. I think it's just the awesome perspective. I mean, that you really have dealt with, because I was looking at the YouTube while I had it on quiet. I was watching it, and I mean, it was beautiful. You looked unbelievable, super crazy fit for the average person to be like, I just want to look like that, right?
Thank
Right.
you.
But no, really, anyone go back to it and YouTube it.
Vivian Ralena,
then put-
VivianRalena.
And then put
what
Dallas.
season was it?
8.
It was 5 years ago, based
8
on
and
the
9,
thing. But
I
put
think.
Dallas Cowboys Cheerleader or whatever afterwards. You'll see it looked unbelievable. But
Thank
hearing
you.
like you guys, and you know, I've done enough shows to hear the insecurities you had. But it's
Yeah.
it's unbelievable that everyone puts so much stress on themselves.
Mhm.
On very
And nobody really
unrealistic.
cares.
That's
If
exactly.
you really think about it,
Yeah.
no one really
Yeah.
cares.
It's very
No, I don't look
unrealistic.
at anybody else like I will like
Judge yourself,
I
right?
will destroy. I mean,
Yeah,
there are
but
times
that's-
where
I
I was
think
like,
that's normal.
stop looking in the mirror. I'm like, this is getting worse. Like, I said a lot.
I mean, there's even a saying, you're your own
I need a
worst
shot.
critic.
Absolutely.
So
Yes,
It's the truth.
everybody does it.
It's the
Yeah.
truth. It
Yeah.
really is the truth.
And that
It's
is
getting
why
worse.
that was the most traumatic thing that I had to go through, because I had to unlearn the brainwashing. I had to
So how did you do that? That's what I was
oh
going to
dear
ask.
God.
Do you still deal with that, the repercussions of that from 4 or 5 years ago?
I just finally healed from all of that.
Mhm.
And now I'm going through the process. That's why I'm taking a step back from drinking. So when that happened, I started to not only binge eat, but I also binge drink, because whenever I would drink, it was easier to just go to sleep and pass out from drinking too much.
What did you drink?
Just like tequila, vodka, hard stuff, because it
all
had
my
less
favorites.
calorie and
Oh,
less
okay.
sugar.
So you stopping drinking altogether right now? Nothing, no wine, no nothing?
I had date night with my boyfriend the other night, and I drank 2 tequila drinks, and the next day, yesterday, I was like, it's not even worth it to me, because I'm in a different place right now, and I'm in a place of healing.
Wow.
And so I did this thing called quantum healing hypnosis therapy, and it's where the therapist puts you under, and you go back into like a time of your life.
womb.
Yeah. Back
Really?
into when you were
No
a little
shit.
kid, back to when you were
Oh.
in the womb, back to past lives.
Are you under
Past lives.
Are you under
What?
hypnosis while this is
Yes.
happening?
Yeah, you're
yes.
sitting
And I'm
in a
going to share
chair
that on my
No
YouTube.
kidding.
I just haven't edited it yet, but I'll have the whole thing up there. And
I've never even heard of that.
I haven't
it's
either.
insane. It's
Did you have a good
insane.
experience?
It was unbelievable.
Have you done it?
I've tried it, but mine.
Well, you have to go
Wasn't
into it a very specific mindset. And so,
and I think you have to be with like the right person.
yeah, the
that you
right
connect
that you
with.
vibe with.
Yeah.
I've always
Yeah, your
wondered about
hypnosis,
like
yeah.
hypnosis. I'm trying to think of like, are you really out? Or
No.
Are you consciously
No.
there?
So you have to, it's very receptive. It's very like this. So,
But it doesn't work for everybody, does it?
if you don't believe it's not going to work for you, it will not work for you. If you
Oh.
believe that it will, then it will.
It's a mindset.
It's a mindset and it's a mental state. It's a like your belief systems, basically. And
That's
you have to
interesting.
test the therapist. Like I went online and I looked at everywhere, because this is when I'm going through a conscious awakening right now. And I'm going through like
that's
a
good.
spiritual journey. And I've been doing all this research, and this is what my YouTube is going to be based upon.
Tell us about your YouTube channel. What is it?
Oh, my YouTube is Vivian Ralena Williams, Vivian Ralena Williams.
That's
And-
so that was like fluid. Man. That was-
There's a lot of vowels in
You've done that really a lot.
Or just are very articulate.
Very.
And before, it was very much based on like fitness, diets, how to get like fit super fast, being an entertainer, things like that. Because my whole life, I have been fascinated with documenting things, because when my mom and my dad split, every time I would hang out with my dad, he would be like, "Oh, Viviana, pose for me. You look so beautiful." And he would take like a picture of me. And so I associated pictures, camera, being behind and in front as a medium of love, and that just made me feel loved. So all throughout growing up, I would go around with a disposable camera and take my own pictures of everyone. Before selfies were a thing, I was doing selfies all day, taking candid moments of my friends, making my own yearbooks. And so I wanted to document my life throughout that. I have not shared half of the content that I have recorded during that process, but now I'm going back and I'm re-editing things. And so it's not the highest quality, but hopefully I'm going to get the right tools and start to juice that up a bit.
You're also writing a book, correct?
Yes, I am writing a book. Well, I've been a writer my whole life. I've only been a dancer for over a decade.
Not half.
So I just want to remind people that you are multifaceted, amazing, wonderful people who are capable of so much. And you don't have to be categorized or camped into this little corner where you're only known as the dancer, where you're only known as the fitness guy, the hair guy, the whatever. I don't know. I don't know enough about you.
I'll take the fitness guy.
We were just talking about your gym experience. So people complimenting you on.
I am the fitness model guy.
And so my book is basically going to be a book about how to love yourself so you can love others better. It's kind of like a course, like an interactive course that teaches you how to heal, because there's a lot of things that I've suffered from that I had to learn how to self-heal from. And so that's what the book's going to be
Is
about.
it available now?
No.
Not yet, but
not
we'll have it back when the book comes out.
I'm so
Yeah.
excited. It's a lot. But yeah. And so that healing hypnosis was just monumental because I connected with my higher self, and her name is Aurora, which is really cool because Aurora lights.
Interesting.
Light. That's kind of my personality.
How did that come about?
So, okay, when you go into a hypnosis session, you have to, and this was coined by Dolores Cannon, the late Dolores Cannon. She's passed on now. She's written tons of books. You can find her online. You can find research online. It's all within that spiritual world. She was a hypnosis therapist, and she would put people under, and all of a sudden people would be going back to past lives.
Wow.
And unearthly lives. And she was putting so many different people, and they were all saying the same things. She was like, there has to be some truth to this. These people have never met, and they're talking about the same exact thing. And so I was just in a rabbit hole. I was deep into it because I was going through a devastating breakup, and I was I hadn't healed from the DCC thing. I hadn't healed from any of my relationships. I was self-medicating. I was not eating right. I was gaining weight and losing weight, not loving myself. And then I was just spiraling out of control. And I was like, I need to heal, man. I need to do something. And so I went to this therapist. I did the research behind it. You have to know that it's going to heal you. You have to feel and believe in your heart that this will help me. If you go into it, same with faith, same with religion. If you don't believe in that religion, you're not going to really represent it. You're not going to really be I believe this is what's going to happen. So you have to go in with grass is green, sky is blue, clouds are white. This is facts. And you have to be very receptive. Whatever you first see or think or feel, that's what you have to say. And that's how they get you to get in a place. So he put me under, and I kind of drifted off. And I'm very visual. So there's this weird thing that I can do. Apparently in the spiritual community, it's astral projecting or traveling. When I close my eyes, it's a black.
See your body come out.
Black ink. And there's
heard that.
There's lights that are kind of wavy, inks. And they'll make shapes of faces, or animals or things like that, and then I'll like zoom past them. So it's like I'm in the universe and there's like galaxies all around me, and I like can see different things, and it's really weird. The first time I experienced it, I was like, what's going on? Like I didn't know I never heard of it before, and so I was like, this is different. And so I'm a very visual person. I didn't know that, but when I was under this hypnosis, I started seeing images, and apparently my soul is of like alien origin, and we were talking about this earlier. Like,
do you know your blood type? No, seriously.
like
Really?
Yeah.
Why's that?
I think if you're O negative, you have like alien blood.
Really? I don't know.
I've never
mine.
heard any of this.
Me
Yeah.
neither.
it's crazy,
Me
you
neither.
guys.
I don't know what
It's
mine
the
is.
type of blood that any kind of you can give that blood to anybody, but you can only receive.
Yeah,
That
universal
specific
donor.
blood,
Yeah.
Right.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
It's
even know what I am.
perceived if you have that
Mhm.
blood,
Yeah.
which most blondes, like
Yeah,
really
Aryan.
pale skin,
Blue-eyed.
have that
Yeah.
blood.
Really?
Wow.
And
I knew Stacy was a fucking alien. The whole fucking time. That's good.
I probably
That's
don't
Just
have
kidding.
Gordon's girlfriend.
Just kidding.
That's wild though, because I've
Yeah.
heard people talk about that same kind of thing,
Yeah.
but it was dealing with psychedelics.
oh yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's what people always
kind
ask
of
me.
an opening gate.
Yeah.
Right.
Hypnosis, psychedelic. It's an opening gate
Yeah.
into your. It's really your mind,
Right.
Yeah.
Just seeing new
And-
parts of it.
and in your
Third eye.
third eye.
Mhm.
The,
shit.
And your
third eye.
what's that gland
Nerd.
called?
So your chakras. You have
I heard
chakras.
the third eye.
Yeah.
I've heard of that.
I feel like we have
It's
to
the
do a whole
gland
other
of-
show on this.
I'm here for
Pituitary
it.
I do.
And both of them are going to have to come back to the third eye show.
High five! High five!
I'm glad I'm not alone in this. I'm so
Yeah.
glad you're here for this.
I feel you,
very
girl.
interesting.
I totally feel you. I'm right there with
Yeah.
you. And whoops, more of that spirituality,
Yes.
belief, and
Mm-hmm.
being one with the universe,
Yes.
and connecting.
Uh-huh.
I'm so jealous of people like you. I'm so far away from all that.
Really?
I just don't even know.
Well, we
You're
got to
still-
bring you in here
Yeah.
and get you woke.
So
Cruz,
yes.
would you say that your
That's a
spiritual journey came from, and we'll talk about this in the next show, there's some different hard challenges you've had, right? Is that where your spiritual journey came
Or
through?
have you
No,
always been?
I think I've always felt that. It's definitely brought me, more aware and
Yeah.
strong. And I think, her in general brought me even more
Yeah.
aware. But
Mhm.
I've always had that thought. Growing up, I was raised non-denominational, so it really was. Good
I thought you
to-
were raised Catholic.
No, not at all.
I didn't know that.
But it was cool that my mom let me go with my friends to all these different churches,
Mhm.
and I had friends that were Jewish and Catholic, and I got to go hang out with them and do different things like that. And I guess, like you say, religion is faith,
Yeah.
and I think spirituality is more of a feeling, connection.
Yeah.
emotion.
Wow. That's
Interesting.
interesting. That's definitely
definitely
a
have to do
show
a
for
whole
sure.
show.
Oh, I'm
Why?
so here for it.
Get
That's what
that.
my entire life
We're
is
gonna
surrounding
do
around.
another one on all that.
Yes.
Because
Need
we
to.
have to do another segment.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut
Yeah.
it short, but this is amazing. We have to do a Miss Polly segment right now.
Yeah. Maybe.
What?
There we go.
It's a new segment. Oh, I'm like,
I
what?
had the volume turned down, so I didn't have to hear the theme song.
God, you're missing out.
Hello,
I'm not missing anything.
Polly.
Hi, Miss Polly.
Hey, Miss Polly, we're still here with Vivian, but we have a new co-host with us. His name is Cruz.
Hi.
Hello.
We had a live studio audience
Yeah.
today too.
Yes.
That's right.
And we are
How
going to go to your
impressive.
jingle right away.
This is
Okay.
Penis and Pussy Talk with Miss Polly.
That's the first fist pump. that
What am
we've
I
had
getting
after
myself
that.
into? I was not warned.
I love new people.
We don't like to warn anybody.
Everyone gets
Whoa.
surprised
I know.
with penis and pussy.
Off the cuff.
I'm just
Makes
gonna leave
me
it right
so
there.
happy.
Me too.
Hey, Miss Polly, I have a question. So
Okay, I have an answer.
there's all different sexual fantasies, and I want to know why being dominated is a sexual fantasy.
A good
Talking to
question.
the right person.
Yeah.
She's a
Ooh.
dominatrix, by the way, Cruz.
Yeah, she's a professional dominator.
Yeah, that's probably is.
Wow.
Well, for a lot of people, especially those that are often in positions of authority, like at work or even in their home life, it can be very stressful. So the sexual fantasy of having someone else take control and them not be responsible for making any decisions or having to do anything except receive
Sounds
pleasure
awesome.
is a lot of times very, very desired. They're like, I don't want to think about it. I just want to do it.
Something new,
I
something
just want to
different.
get it.
Just be
I
told what to do.
understand that part. It's the pain part that I don't get.
What kind of dominating have you been doing, part of?
I mean,
I absolutely remember
That's awesome.
from Miss
So-
Polly's first show. I absolutely remember the ball stomping conversation.
Yes.
I will never
I
forget
was
that.
actually gonna mention that.
Yeah, why?
Ball stomping?
Yes, they're into
That
it.
ever happened for you?
No, but I've heard of it, and it's a very popular dominatrix kind
Hold
of thing. I
on.
feel.
Wait.
Miss
what?
Polly, go ahead and explain to
about
Bernie.
that.
Bernie,
Holy shit.
Bernie, you
With
must
the
have not
heel,
listened to
the
this.
high
Oh, I
heel.
didn't hear the ball stomping one. I would have always, that's a memory I would have never gotten out of my mind for sure.
Trust me, it
Miss
doesn't
Polly,
leave.
would you
Yes.
tell them about that one more time?
Well, okay, so what we're talking about really is cock ball torture, CBT.
wait,
There's even a name for it.
CBT?
Torture.
That sounds, there
Yes.
was nothing that sounded sexy about that at all. You can say it in any tone and
You don't want any
breathy.
CBT?
No,
Oh, God.
We're going to call Stacy.
yeah, no,
Oh, no.
there's no one stomping on these balls. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They're like, say
Continue.
your safe word right now.
Safe word.
Blueberry pancakes.
Fuzzy pickle.
We're on the same
Both of
wavelength.
those were
Yeah.
So go ahead. Tell me about this.
Bernie's still in
I'm
shock.
still like in wow mode right now.
Well, the thing is with they just don't have to like hold back, and they can be orgasmic in response of that. They just literally don't have to
Hold on.
make those decisions.
Whoa, hold on. No, I'm not saying to go on to that one. I'm just trying to go back to the ball stomping thing. So there's someone who stomps on someone's balls, like
She did.
legitimately? Like, did you do that?
With heels on.
What?
It gets better.
Is it hard? Like, do you?
There's
kick
a
it hard?
video out there if you really want to see.
I like, pull it up. Let me see, Cruz. Like, because I'm gonna.
Not
I'm
on
gonna,
my phone.
Yeah, I'm gonna check this out for sure.
He doesn't want that in his search
It's
history.
like, Stacy, you will never stomp on my balls. Let me tell you now, dude. That's insane. All right, sorry. I'm getting sidetracked.
Tell us
with balls.
more. What?
About what?
The ball stomping. They want more information.
Bernie does.
Bernie's really
Bernie's
That's
real
like-
interesting.
Yeah, and I'm not. I would be. Y'all know I'm very blunt on the show about like I'll do this and that. That's not.
No
I'm just
way.
curious of. I know. I'm curious of how that can be enjoyable, but clearly it is because y'all have an acronym for it, and y'all are talking. And Cruz knows about it. He's like
But
I never said it was
yeah.
enjoyable. I just know about it.
But Miss,
someone can bite on my balls. That's okay, but stomping is just
So-
not going to work.
can you explain though why people do love the pain part of it, which is what
Yeah.
Cruz was asking.
That's what
like,
I don't
that's-
get.
That's
Most
exactly
of
what I
the
don't get.
time- Okay, because clearly you're not a masochist, okay? That's okay. Not everybody
Clearly.
is a masochist.
Very clearly.
So, and not everybody's into the sadism part of it either. But a lot of them are still in really like bondage and domination, which totally fine.
That's
I like-
okay.
I like
No,
that.
That's
I mean, I
totally
can-
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Totally
But
fine.
like the ball
So many
stomping part,
different-
I'm sorry.
I mean,
Man.
let's talk about 50 Shades of Fucked Up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many different kinds.
Oh,
And
I've
not
seen
everything
some
is everybody,
crazy
okay?
shit.
That's
But
so
it's
crazy.
okay, because if that's not your kink, then it's not your kink. But there are other people that really love pain.
Wow.
They're masochists. and they really love pain. They feel like, some guys feel like I need to be punished because I like did shitty things all day to people because that was their job.
You're a bad
Like,
boy.
I seriously had a client that
So crazy.
his job basically all day long was firing people.
Oh, yeah.
That is what he did.
So he wanted to be punished.
So what did you do to
He
him?
wanted to be punished.
How'd you punish him?
Well, I spanked the shit out of him.
Yes, you did, Miss Polly.
Yo,
Wow.
that scares me a little
Yeah.
bit. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, bruises and all.
I have a feeling
was-
Miss Polly
He
can bring the
loved
pain.
the fact that he had bruises.
Oh, bruises
Okay.
and all.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
you know,
We remember on our photo shoot, Miss Polly tried to spank me with that
I
paddle.
remember.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, we had our podcast photo shoot.
I totally missed that.
Miss Polly was trying to paddle me while I was wearing lingerie.
You dirty sluts.
I
All
like
of y'all.
spanking.
All of you guys.
I am
All
in
right.
awe.
I've been here for
I'm
a
in
while,
awe.
and I'm in awe right now.
I think we need to go to the question of the day.
Yeah, I was like, what
Damn
was the
good
question?
idea.
Okay.
The two posh girls ask the question of the day.
Working.
So, what if an ex from 5 months ago responds to your story randomly? Does that mean they miss you or they just want to be friends?
Or they want a little hookup.
Wait, what response to
It
your
all
story?
depends
of
on the
what?
Like on
situation.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Insta
Yeah.
story.
Insta story.
First off, I mean, are you going to have an ex? Are you still connected to an ex? Because I wouldn't want my ex at all responding to my stuff at all.
Well, what if she did? That's the question.
Yeah,
like,
dude,
would
nothing.
you think that they're friends?
Well, I
If
wouldn't
she
think-
miss you, or does she just wants to be friends?
I would think fuck off. Cunt.
Or leading
That's
you
what I
on
would
or
think.
wanting to keep you.
I think
kinda.
it's more of a reminder that I'm still
That's-
here.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hi. Don't
Okay.
forget
See
about
what,
me.
see what happens, you know, kind of like
keeping your
poking
place in
and-
line.
Yeah, like, hey, I'm still here. If you just
forgot about me.
Yeah. If you're over me, hey, here's some more. Here's some.
Yeah, because that's like the perfect timing. It's
Yeah.
like, after 5, it's starting to kind of like, okay, I'm moving on. And then I feel like that person can sense stuff like that if they're still seeing your stuff. And they're like,
Yeah.
hi, don't forget
Depends
about me.
now.
Yeah, when
is
they
it-
see you happy and they're like,
Yeah.
fuck it up.
Dude, exactly. Is it now the scenario that you're dating someone, you're not dating someone? Does it matter?
We don't know.
or
Doesn't matter.
geez. No, it doesn't matter.
So this
Just
is
in general, I think
this is actually
I don't
happened
care
to me.
Has it?
It's what?
Oh,
And
let's-
This is
happened-
happening to me
let's hear
right
it.
now.
Let's hear
Like
it.
I'm in a relationship, and like a lot of my ex-boyfriends are just like, "Hey, what's up?"
they
Because
see
they
you
don't
happy.
care. They don't care.
I'm like,
Yeah.
hi. Like there's one
What?
that I
So why
dated
are
in
you
high
even-
school,
Wow.
and now he's like trying to comment on all my Snapchats. I'm like,
So why are you?
It's because you're happy and you
Yeah.
look good, and they'll be like,
But why not just stop that?
I was with that. Maybe I can get it again.
Yeah.
See, now that makes sense, but why not stop that drama before?
because
aren't
I
you
never
setting yourself?
end anything with like real dramatic. I end everything lovingly.
It's not a matter of being dramatic because don't you? I mean, I would imagine that by even responding or saying hey or whatever or allowing that, what you're choosing to do is you're choosing to allow that potential drama into a good relationship because you're in a good relationship now.
Yeah. I told him about it too. I tell him I think honesty is honestly the best way to go about
Absolutely.
life.
Yeah,
But why
100%.
not just stop it cut it off at the root and just block all those X's out?
Because of who I am as a person, I want to heal people. I want to help them on their journey. And so
Yeah, I am recognizing this.
I just-
There's one other one in the room that does all that.
you do that too? If I
You guys, let me be the guy.
I
Let me go and be the guy to
know.
tell y'all are guaranteeing to set yourselves up some bullshit in a happy
Yep.
relationship. It's a fact.
Yep.
Because all it takes is one response. So here, let me put you on the scenario, right? Let's say it's 11
Dignitized.
Yeah. Let's say that 11 o'clock at night and one of y'all's boyfriends gets a text message or a Facebook message or an Instagram message or Snapchat from their ex-girlfriend. How's that make y'all feel? I don't even have to ask. I know it'll piss y'all off. It'll frustrate you. Whatever.
No, it's because
I don't believe that.
well, I would be like, uncomfortable from it, but I wouldn't be pissed off at it
But,
because I'm like,
yeah.
all right, do with whatever you want to do.
I call
Why are you
bullshit
even
on that.
friends on social media?
Yeah, I call bullshit on
with
that. There's
an
no
ex?
way.
Oh, come on.
I call bullshit. There's no way that anyone would be like, oh, you just handle it. I'd be like, listen, motherfucker.
But it's
what
because
the fuck?
I do it. That's
You
why
can be
I would-
cordial with your ex, but you can't be friends with your ex.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
agree. That's what I mean.
So friends means like not blocked, but not friends on there.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on the situation, right? Depends on it. But I can tell you for a fact that by not blocking those out, you're setting yourself up for guarantee. I'm telling you for a fact.
Yeah.
Mark this word, take it to the bank, and I hope I don't.
This
You have to
is
come back to me.
happened to him.
I think
Don't worry.
No, I
It's
think
like-
you're
like-
right.
I'm
But
cutting
right
this
now-
off to use later.
Yeah, but
Yes.
think about it. If you're saying it's happening right now, I guarantee, even though your boyfriend may say, okay, I promise you it doesn't make him feel comfortable. And it probably is putting on a seed that you're playing in that arena of allowing some bullshit. That's my 2 cents.
I agree with you.
I concur.
I do not. But I don't care.
no?
I don't care who you talk to.
What's your opinion?
I don't care who
If-
you talk to, how you talk to him. If we're still together, then I'm cool.
Miss Polly?
There you go, Spide.
But you're
Well, because I'm still friends with my ex. I mean, I'm friends with several of my exes. So, but every now and then he'll and his family too. So he'll like a post or something.
Yeah, but you guys
But
are married
at the same time-
forever. I think it's different.
We were.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
you're
but I mean,
a
I'm-
completely different like scenario.
Yeah, that doesn't. I agree with Cruz on that one. That's like, if y'all remember 20 years, I don't think any new boyfriends be mad about someone that you're married to because it clearly didn't work. But I think a boyfriend girlfriend situation is just different.
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm just like, I don't get jealous because I don't waste my time on that emotion.
All right.
Good.
Self-confidence
No.
right there. On that note, thank you for listening.
Hold on, hang on,
Sorry,
wait.
I
sorry.
think it's true. I was going to say it's true. Sometimes it's hard to separate the emotions, but if you can do it, if you have that mindset, then
Yeah.
That is true.
But that is very much not. I don't think it's realistic for a real, serious, healthy, whatever, to have an ex messaging.
On that note, thank you for listening.
Oh, wow.